Okay, there's a difference between ambition and vision. Let me explain this, as I often explain to my colleagues in software industry. Vision is when you want something outstanding, big for the whole community, for everybody. Ambition is usually personal. I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a minister. I want to be this. I want to be that. So, but when you expand that I to include everybody, that becomes a vision. What Abdul Kalam ji had was a vision for the whole country. He wanted India to do well in 20 different fields. In his 2020 document, he clarified that beautifully. He wanted education for the country, in the entire country. He wanted financial growth. He wanted healthcare sector to grow. He wanted politics to grow, leadership to grow. Several dimensions he planned. That is vision. When you say, I want a house in New York or London, it's me all the time, then you realize that it's ambition. And when it's ambition, sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't. When it doesn't, it's painful. When it does, it is no less painful. It takes you from one ambition to another, then you become greedy, you then become very uncomfortable with the success. Not many people know how to deal with success, especially ambition-related success. But vision-related success is just wonderful because everybody is happy with it. My father was given to very little proselytizing or giving advice, but he gave me one statement which I remember in my school, which I thought was just nice play with words. He said, when you replace the word I with the word we, the word illness becomes the word wellness. It looked like a nice play of words. As a school-going kid, it was nice. He read it somewhere and asked me to take a look at it. But later on, as I studied neuroscience and went a little deeper into mind part of it, today I know that when I worry not about myself, but everybody else around me, so that when everybody grows, I also grow. But it's a very healthy growth that leads to well-being. A lot of our health problems related to our mind, and they're all connected with that simple thing. Think bigger about everybody, not yourself. In fact, if I may say so, the first time I got some clarity on some of the most beautiful values that we need to have. And so I looked at definitions I read somewhere that humility is not when you think less of yourself. Humility is when you think less of yourself and think about yourself less and think more about the others. When you think less of yourself, it is not humility, it is low self-esteem, which is not a good thing. So when you think of yourself less of the time and think more about others, like, can I worry about my colleagues in the office? Can I worry about the country at large, the community at large, my family at large, rather than me and my money, my bank account, my promotion, my vacation, and so on? That is, makes that shift, which is not easy when you're very young. But as you grow older from that survival phase to growth phase of your life, if you can make that transition, it's beautiful. Then you begin to see the beauty of life like nothing else before. That's what happened to me anyway. That's
yeah. And talking about that vision, moving beyond the self, I remember a decade ago when I met you for the first time, the beautiful, inspiring speech that you gave about 108. I have lost count of the number of times I've shared that story, but I would want to hear it once again from you about this concept of 108, which you brought into our country. And today we've just taken it for granted, which has become so much a part of our system. So if you can take us through that story,
Yeah.
your
I
style.
was blessed to have that opportunity. But I guess it came my way, not by luck alone, but because I was wanting to do some useful things in life. See, what happened was when I was about 50 years old, I looked at back at my life, as I occasionally do, and took stock of the situation and said, I've done educationally well. IIT and IISc, it's two of the best top class institutions inside India. I've done well financially. I was in the IT sector at the right time. The growth was happening. A tsunami wave was happening in the IT sector, and I happened to be a part of it. I did well. I did well professionally. I became a CEO. Financially because of stock options and so on. But have I done real good service and built anything substantial in this country apart from some good bank account and whatever, IT structures in India? The answer was no. I didn't do anything like service that my brothers who were doctors were doing. So I was thinking of that. In a couple of months later, a friend of mine by name Barbara died in a road accident. She's a good family friend. She died when she was traveling with her 21-year-old daughter. And I was not in the country when it happened, but when I came to know, I was extremely unhappy. Then I realized, and I was looking at myself and said, what's the point in getting unhappy and criticizing the government, the traffic in India, police in India, hospitals in India, lack of ambulance system in India, and talking about it to everybody in my family or in my neighborhood or in my workplace? It's not getting me anywhere, not solving the problem. So if we want to be efficient, anything that bothers you, should do something about it or not be bothered about it. It's okay. Like bad weather, no point in complaining about it because there's nothing you can do about that. Okay. You can't raise the temperature of the ocean. You can take a glass of water and boil it. You can't boil the ocean. There are many things that you can't do, but there are things that you can do. And if you can't do anything about it, don't complain. If you complain, do something about it. So that was the thing that I used to say in various situations. And when this happened to me, I wanted to apply the same yardstick and said, then the first thought was, it's not something any individual can do. It's not even governments can do. It's not the whole complex central government, state government. Everything has to change to make it happen. I said, no, that's a good excuse for not doing anything about it. So let's find out ways of making it happen. If this problem is given to you, what would you do? So that's how it started. I took a week off, looked at the whole problem, talked to some of my friends in the government, and realized that it's not something. Government has so many other priorities. It's unlikely that they will think about this as one more priority because so many things need attention in this country. So many things are wrong. So where do you start? So this is not in the priority of the government. How do you make the government accept it? So I started, okay, there's a problem. Let's see how we can make that happen. That's one thing led to another. Then that story is a very complex story, but there have been a lot of beautiful lessons to learn. As long as you have the Carol Dweck's mindset, or growth mindset, you'll always figure it out. We have no answers to all the questions. As I often say, we are not GMUs, general managers of the universe. We're just humble, ordinary people, capable of problem solving in small domains. So let's see if there's techniques apply in larger domains also. It's worth attempting. Failure is not a problem. Okay, you attempted something, it doesn't work, it's okay. It's one more thing. But not doing it was not okay. When it happened in my radar with a good friend that we all liked, my wife and I were very friendly with her. Family knew her very well. And when it happened, it went home. And I said, there's some reason why it happened. Let's see if I can do. I'm at the prime of my life, done well. If I don't take risks at this stage, who will take? My friend suggested that I should do it after retirement. And I said, no, this is not the kind of thing I want to do when I have no juice left in me to pursue. But when I'm in the prime of my life, when I'm not so insecure without, having to worry about my rent next month and things like that, this is the time to do some good things. So that's how it happened. But I was blessed to have that opportunity, and I was able to get some funds to start with it and then start the project, and then government got interested for whatever reasons. It moved forward. That's a very long story, but it happened beautifully. And there are some lessons to be learned from that. And I try to apply that, talk about that, and give those lessons to other projects. And there's not the only problem. There are massive problems in India. India is a big country. Problems are big. So the solutions ought to be big. If the solutions have to be big, there are two major methods. One is technology. Use technology very well, because technology scales up beautifully. If you have to do manual systems, it will be very difficult to scale up. Second thing is entrepreneurial. For entrepreneurs, problems are not problems. They're opportunities to make money, to do something outstanding. So that's how this whole thing happened. So we're applying it now to other larger causes that need attention in India. So I tell my friends, the younger friends, that if you want to do outstanding things, you have to pick up some outstanding problem and take a chance. And if it works out, it's wonderful. If it's not, it's a great satisfaction that you tried anyway. Maybe you're ahead of time. Maybe universe didn't support you, but it just trying itself is a pleasure.